Hey everyone, this is a random Saturday here in October. It's the 28th, 2023, and I just decided to go live real quick. I got a new phone. I wanted to just try it out to see what it's like streaming from this phone and, you know, just kind of give it a go and see what I think. I'm working on some Cadians here, and the Warhammer Grand Narrative is coming up soon. So I hope to get a few of these finished up and painted before I make it to that event. So I'm just sitting here adding on some paint, actually finishing up this Voxcaster, I think first, once my motivation changes in the middle of this. So like I said, doing it from the first time from a new phone, just wanted to see how it worked and whether I may or may not want to do this with this device in the future. Here we go, just checking the chat there real quick. All right. So, yep, just painting some models, adding some details to these, and talking a little bit. So, not even exactly sure how the chat view works on here. So we can maybe check that out as we go along. Yeah, look at that Voxcaster there. Wow. So this camera that my phone's using right now is adding a lot of contrast to this, to be quite honest. This model is not as bright and dark as it's showing. It's much more matte. But I gotta say, it does make my model look a lot cooler. Maybe I should paint with some higher contrast in my color choices. So that's all. Just streaming for the fun of it and just looking at some stuff. So I hope you all are having a great October so far. We are almost to Halloween, which is going to be really cool. And then not long after that, I will be getting ready to go to the Grand Narrative event. So let me try to see how I can look at. Okay. Don't know how. Welcome to live chat. Okay. So I guess chat just pops up on my screen. Um, so if you guys do say anything, I'll see it pop up here while I'm streaming. So yeah, I'm definitely another just thing I just want to say real quick. I'm really, really enjoying these new Cadian models. Just the detail level is really wonderful. I think after I do my next batch, I'm gonna start getting into like looking at kit bashing and converting a lot more of these. I've done a few, but I'll want to do a little more than what I have already, just to keep things fresh and to see what I can do. And that's what I did with the old guard models as well. I didn't really kit bash though until I felt like I had mastered the kit itself. Hey Valhallen, good to see you. It's been a while actually. So good to see you in the chat. I know I haven't been doing as much with my YouTube as of recently, but um, I'm just trying to utilize it a bit more. And I might be switching so that my Instagram is really where I do just photos, and I may not be doing as much video there in the future. I maybe just be doing it all here. Right? It's like trying to make a tool into something it's not meant to be, and so I think it may be more advantageous to do video solely on YouTube or primarily on YouTube. Plus, I think everybody on Instagram is getting real sick and tired of seeing my product reviews, just to be honest. Probably isn't why they follow me on Instagram. People probably don't follow me for product reviews there. Might as well just be honest about it. Let me take a look at the chat again real quick. Um, Managing. Okay. So that's interesting. You can now pin a message to the top of your live chat. Like I said, learning this, seeing how it works from my phone for the first time, having some fun with it. All right, so I just got all my bright green highlights on here. Hey Dave. Hey dude. Good to see you. So Dave's in the local club and is one of our super awesome players. So um, he super talented and super nice as well. So Dave, good to see you. There we go. All right, I think I got enough. Oh wow, it was out of focus. I think those nice. bright green highlights worked out pretty good. You only need a few when you're like highlighting your models up. Just need to grab a few corners, a few little high spots, and really you're good to go. Yeah, I know whenever I get games in, right, David? That's kind of the issue I have is I did finally get to play a game in the store the other day, which was really nice. I got to play against Scotty, who's also in our local club. Really great match. We had a ton of fun, and I knocked it out with a 19 point victory. Wasn't super strong victory. It was a good victory though, and it was well played. And we had a lot of fun. So, but I need to get my models on the table more often. So, especially next to all the other gorgeous armies that are out there. So, all right. I think I may actually go ahead and just finish up that box caster in full. And so I'm going to go ahead and do its leather now, too. Oh, wow. Hey, there's several of you here. I wish, so the only thing I wish would happen is I wish chat would stay pinned to my screen. It doesn't. So if I'm looking down for too long, I may miss messages. And I like how this thing is telling me, oh, you should get a moderator. Yeah, okay. I'm big enough to have a moderator. Oh, not gonna happen. So, at least maybe not for a while. Um, I think we all have a lot of fun here, and I really appreciate you all hanging out with me for a little bit while doing this. So if you guys have any like guard related questions or anything, I'm actually happy to answer them while I'm streaming. And I'm going to look up here at the chat and try to answer those. Or maybe if you got hobby questions, as long as that hobby question um, isn't about, I don't know, when my skin painting tutorial is going to come out. I lost motivation editing it, and so it's been 2 weeks just sitting in the hopper, and I need to get it finished up. But we'll see. Um, oh, thanks, TIE Fighter. I really appreciate that. So I don't know. I am a niche within a niche within a niche in a way. So I do have a smaller account, and I don't even know. Like, what do? You just get volunteers? Is that what moderators are? They just volunteer to like take care of your stuff for you? Seems like a pretty big time commitment for something you don't get paid for. I'm just saying. But I guess if people are dedicated or they're interested in doing that, if they're always going to be at the stream anyways, maybe that's how it works. Like they're going to come regardless, and then you're like, hey man, you're always here. Yeah, that's what I thought, David. I thought they were just kind of like volunteers. I didn't think anyone really probably pays moderators on accounts. Ah, it's hard to keep it in focus. You recently got 2 Centaur carriers? Oh, I am not using the Creed models that came with mine. So what I'm doing, and as you can see here, I'll show you real quick. I'm actually using the artillery crew, and I've kind of kit bashed them. Like this one's going to be the operator. So he's got the little levers. He's going to be driving. This is going to be the commander kind of standing in the back. Here's kind of the co-pilot. He's got a map. And so I'm going to kit bash a few more and stick them in here. So this is going to be a double proxy for me. And I'm setting it up so that one, it's magnetized. Oh, if I didn't mess it up. It's magnetized to the base. So this way I can take it on and off the base. The other thing I'm going to do, it'll either be counts as a Cadian command squad, which I think will be really cool, or it'll count as Lord Solar Leontis. And so I guess just pretend the heavy stubber is his super pistol and utilize it that way. So, but I thought it was fun. I've seen so many people do their own custom Leontises, and that's what I originally set out to do. But then I was like, well, I'll go ahead and just put 5 models inside of it because it has right driver, co-driver, 2 passengers there. It's got a couple other seats, but I'll leave one empty. But I'll put 5 models in here, and this way can also count as a command squad and drive around and cause some harm. So that's what I hope to do with it. It should be a really fun project. I'm looking forward to it. But nope, the Krieg that came with it are actually sitting over here to the side, and I don't intend to build or paint anything with them really. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, but I'm going to be really excited to move that one along. But for now, I need to get models ready for the Warhammer Grand Narrative. So that is, how can I see this better? Oh, there we go. That works a lot better for me. I'm going to lean to the side so I can actually see because my camera is literally right in front of me blocking my view. I wanted to put y'all overhead for myself, but then I wouldn't be able to see the chat. That wouldn't be nearly as fun. So, yep. I don't know if I'm ever going to do anything with that Krieg crew, so I might be willing to just like donate it to somebody who would use those models. I mean, I have Krieg models, but I don't intend to like build a full Krieg army. Pull on the centaur. Oh yeah. Yeah, so magnetizing the artillery so that you can drag it around with your centaur. So that's I'm really excited that it has the tow hook on it. And I actually still have some of the Forge World kits where it had the other piece of this. The other side, like one of the actual ovals that you can clamp on there. And got a few tow hooks I can still put on Chimera kits too. And I think I may actually do that for some cool photos where I tow the artillery behind it. Sometimes I almost wish we still had rules for that, but with games only being 5 turns, I guess that's not really practical, is it? To tow your artillery around the battlefield. Oh, no, probably not. But I don't know if anyone else remembers that from the older editions, like fifth, sixth, seventh. Like you could do that. They were immobile unless you had certain vehicles nearby that could then move your artillery around. And I always thought about that in fifth, sixth, seventh edition because I'm like, how would, even in a 7 turn game, how would you have time to reposition your artillery? Um, in the snap firing rules and stuff like that, I think it was one of those cool narrative rules that Forge World wrote in, but it was really unpractical in gameplay. So probably why nobody ever did it. Or maybe I'm making all this up in my head. I used to do that because I would read the fluff in the books, in the rule books, and then I would think because I read the fluff, my units could do that. And it got me in trouble in my gaming group all the time because I would break the rules because, the narrative said I could do something, and it wasn't actually true. But that's how you learn, right? You make mistakes, or you actually read the rule book. I don't know. Both are ways you can learn. I won't forget. I think I took a oh shoot, the Scion transport, the Torox. I took a Torox, and in the sixth edition guard rulebook, it said it had grab treads and it could like drive up impossible terrain and walls and stuff like that. Which I was reading about it and I'm like, what the heck? You've got to be kidding me. So when I went to play a game, I did that. I literally drove my Torox over a building, like up onto the wall, and parked it up there. And I won't forget, I was playing with my cousin Derek and our friend Daniel was there too, and they were like, "You can't do that. Like the rules don't let you do that." And I was like, "Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do." And I opened up my rule book and I read it and I went, "Oh, never mind. It was just the narrative." Oh, good grief. Yeah, so I hope you all are having a great Sunday. Will I do? Oop, that's a little too heavy there. Yeah, don't cheat like I do, guys. Don't cheat just because you read something in a book and then you think it can happen. It's not actually how Warhammer works, so don't cheat. I'm much better about it now that I know. Not everything you read narratively is something that your models can do. That's just the way it is. I can't say. I mean, I'm really enjoying 10th edition. I think it's definitely been a lot of fun. So I was talking with Katie and Shock about that the other day. We were messaging back and forth, and I was saying I'm really having a great time with it. Let's see, most of my modeling is for Rule of Cool and having a buddy recast some Destroying heavy weapons crews. Oh, you're so lucky. So I can freaking bash crewmen for the Centaur. The Destroying are Scalps. There's some chunky boys. Yes, they are. But God, those sculpts are beautiful. They're some of the best models I think GW's ever made are the Vestroyans. Just so gorgeous. I really wish they would have taken the lines like that and made them like print to order resin so that they were still available for folks. And I think that would have been a really cool way to do it rather than discontinuing them. Because also as an avid hobbyist, I don't like working with pewter, and but I don't mind resin, especially for rare models. And so that would have been really cool. But can't wait to see what you're able to do with those. I hope to be able to see photos of them, like on Instagram or something later on. That'd be really cool. So I always say Instagram because that's really where I hang out and I mostly do all my stuff, except for here. Let's see. Yeah, Val Howland's completely agreeing there. Sorry, I got to touch my phone to see the chat sometimes because it goes away so quickly. But yeah, I think 10th edition's been real good. I think it's good for guard players. If you ignore the constant back and forth of the win rate stuff, like I'm talking about like just playing. I'm not talking about playing competitively. I'm not talking about winning all your games. I'm talking about just playing. Like it's been a lot of fun, and I think the rules, in most cases, add to the narrative of the game. And it's a really good time. Let's see. They need about Hounds because I can't spend £6 on eBay for a model. Yeah. And what's a shame is that is almost cheaper than the reprint prices from Actual Games Workshop. So when they were like, what was that last one they did? Wasn't Valhalla, but they just the last set of guard models. I think it was actually Vestroyans. And they were charging like $35, $40 for like one heavy weapons team or one special weapon model. As if it was like a special character model, right? As if it was like Arminka-esque. And it wasn't. It was just like a plasma gunner. Yeah, at that point, then your eBay prices are maybe even cheaper. But I don't know. I got frustrated a little bit the other day too, trying to get some out of print stuff on eBay because I got recast, and I wasn't trying to buy recast. I was actually trying to buy original Forge World, and the recast resin wasn't nearly as good. So, very disappointed about that. Say, I got £20 for some Steel Legion 2 years ago. Uh, oh yeah, and then and then GW reprints them at £40 a piece. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought the prices would like increase that way? It's just wild. But then again, the prices are not set by hobbyists, they're set by people in like basically GW's kind of accounting office type deal, right? And they're like, well, when we sell single models by themselves, they sell for this much. So they think all single models should sell that much because they're not hobbyists. They're people who do accounting work and finance work. So of course they don't understand how that negatively impacts us. That nobody catches it. Or nobody tells them not to do it, at least, maybe. Or who knows, maybe they learned a lesson during that last release. And they were like, oh, we shouldn't do that again. Everybody was really mad. Probably not. GW, I don't think is hurting on sales. They're probably doing just fine. I'm giving a break. They can't even like keep their stuff in stock. Their sales are doing so good. So, which is good. That means the hobby's also healthy, right? So bringing chat back up again. Imagine if Finecast really worked and GW used all the oh yeah, if Finecast worked, right? It didn't. I mean, I don't know. I bought a lot of Finecast models and I don't know. I fixed them. I'd have to get them out, blow dry, boil, do green stuff to plug holes, yada, yada, yada. But I never minded. I think the worst one I ever got was my Eisenhorn model, and it was real bad. Like, I think still, even though he's painted and he's up on my shelf, he's still not all the way like unwarped, and his stride and his stance looks kind of funny because it was so badly warped when I got it. I mean, not just like his staff bent. No, no, no. I mean, like his whole body was curved and rotated over, and I was like, how? How does that happen that bad? They probably just didn't have the quality control level of like what Ford Roll did. So, oh well, that would have been nice. But maybe that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some of these more obscure guard ranges. Maybe made to order resin, I think would be really cool. I don't want to buy pewter. I really don't. Oh, really? So you're saying that most of the destroying metals on eBay are recasts? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about people like recasting metal. That's are they resins or are they metal to pretend to try to be the original metals? Is that what you're saying? That would surprise me, but I guess they could spin cast the metals and it's not rocket science. So that would make sense. Hey, look, I almost got all his leathers done. And then I'll have to do the black highlights. And then this one's pretty much done. Oh, look at that. Okay, this camera's got pretty good zoom. It really is adding more contrast than what there is on this model, though. It's the only thing I don't like about the camera on my phone. I got the new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, and I don't like what the camera's doing, but it looks good for you all. People buy original boxes and fill them with metal recasts for big dollars. Ah, that's that's dirty. And I see people selling boxes on eBay, and it baffled me for the first few years, but now I could see why there's a market for that. And which is why, to be honest with you, just to talk about ethics of the market, that's why I won't sell my empty boxes. I won't do it. I break them all down and I recycle them all. So I, because if that's what people are potentially buying those boxes for, I don't want to contribute to that, even though it could get me a few US dollars of money. I get a lot of GW stuff. I have a lot of the original boxes, all the original packing and everything, but I will not resell them for that reason. So sorry to hear that. That is an absolute bummer. Oops. Really got to keep this in focus. So, maybe that'll help. Listen, I'm figuring this out as I go along. Also telling my wife today I was thinking about starting to stream on Sundays, Sunday mornings, but I don't know about that either. It was a thought. I'm not necessarily committing to it, and I do appreciate folks like you all, David, Valhallan, and so forth, who have been here for past streams I've done, and potentially being here for future streams that I may do as well. But I'm talking about like getting up like 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, um, kind of streaming just because when I have time before my son needs breakfast and the dogs need out and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, David, you're awesome, by the way. Thanks for being here and thanks for being such a cool dude in the local club. So I do gotta, David, I'm going to issue you a public apology though. So David we're doing a cool narrative league that I'm running at the shop, which is why I probably don't have as much time to play games as I'd like, but I enjoy running it. Anyhow, that's not the point of this story. So I wrote this cool mission, and what it was is I was reading in the Tyrannic War kind of narrative that there's all these mysterious tunnels that were built by like native species of the planet. And so in my head, I went, oh, what digs tunnels? Ambles. I'm going to write a mission just for an amble. And I did. I got to tweak the mission rules because also some people figured out how to break the mission and make it not work. But what it does is every turn, the amble comes out of a deep strike, infiltrates within 3 inches of an objective marker or as close as it can get, and that objective marker has to be one you control and the most models on it. And then at the end of the turn, after the fight phase is concluded and everything, it goes back into reserves, like it burrows back down to the ground and then pops back up again on your opponent's turn on an objective they control, blah, 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 blah. So every turn, you're getting attacked by the dreaded amble. And David was the first player to try it out. It was brutal. It was mean. I'm a mean game master. Sorry, everybody. But mostly sorry to David. It was brutal. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So he was up against Ezekiel, who's another great guy in the club. And what Dave is saying is that David put this cool, strong heresy tank up there and just tried to shoot the amble off the table almost every round so he didn't have to fight it. But Ezekiel did one turn also cheekily, I think, used it to like charge back onto an objective. And poor David's right. He had no shooting in his army. Like almost none. So David's only choice was to like not charge his opponent and to charge the amble instead so he could fight first. Because the amble, whether you charge or not, it will charge all units on that objective, both friendly and unfriendly. So, but then I also realized I didn't give it a way to divide up its attacks, and yeah, I didn't think the mission through all the way. But it was fun, but it was a bit mean. It's a bit brutal. That's the kind of stuff that happens when you all game with me, by the way. Just for anybody watching this now or later. Okay. So I think this guy is pretty much done. Right? I just got to do the highlights on the black, and then he's good to go. I'm liking how this... Oh, no. So, yeah, there were a few broken things that mission Dave was pointing out, like the amble automatically charges. So I need to make it so like the amble charges at the end of the charge phase. So it's like kind of the last thing to charge and give everybody a chance to run away from it if they want to, which is boring. I'd like everybody to fight it, but it also allows you to be a bit strategic with the way the rules are written. I think that could be a lot of fun. Yeah, Dave just wanted to tank shock everything, which is a valid way to play. All right, let's get these highlights on this gray here. Just want to double check the time. Yep, I'm good. So I got a event I got to go to professionally this evening, so I can stream for a little bit longer. Yeah, you were steaming a little bit, Dave, and that's okay. It happens sometimes. I won't forget, I was steaming mad at the very last 7th edition tournament I ever went to. It was livid. And I remember it was one of the only times I ever spoke unkindly to an opponent, ever. But the guy wrote like a really unfun list to play against, and I just told him. I looked right at him. I said, "Hey, I just want you to know I'm not having fun." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "No, it's all right." I was like, "It's a game. You're playing the rules." I was like, "But I'm just not having fun. And it's because of the rules and blah, blah, blah." That was the end of 7th. That was all the rules bloat and everything. Everything was freaking broken then. It was really bad. That's why I laugh when folks complain about like 10th. I'm like, really? This is great. I mean, it's not perfect. So critique it, but it's not like doom and gloom either. That was 7th edition. Whew. Oh, I missed a message in the chat there. So we got, does anyone know the size of the tarantula battery compared to the sentry gun from the Shadow Vault's kill team? Is it a good proxy? So the tarantula's legs stick out decently far. It's got about a 3.5 inch diameter. Whereas in the sentry gun from kill teams, about 2 to 1.5 inches in its rectangular kind of footprint. So it's a decent proxy. It is. I think if you stuck it on a base that's about this size, I think this is an 80 mil that like Leontis sits on. I think that would get it almost the size of the sentry gun itself. Now, I do not have an original sentry gun, so I can't tell you the exact measurements. I looked at one when I was at the Nova Open and decided not to buy it because I think it was 45 US dollars at the time. And I just didn't feel like it was worth it to spend that kind of money on a model that potentially was going to be done away with. Um, I was a little just, I've been skeptical about Forge World recently, so I don't have an actual one. I got a third party one. It's actually really cool. It's the only time I've liked a third party version of a model more than the original. And I know I'm probably very alone in that opinion for most of GW and Forge World's models, but I don't know. I think the when I looked at the Sentry Gun and its packaging there at the Nova Open, I wasn't impressed. I really wasn't. Like it looks really cool online when it's all finished up and done with, but I don't know. It didn't have the detail level I typically expect from a Forge World model. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just used to much greater detail levels. Let's see. Oh, wow. Wow. Chat's blowing up. What color did you use to paint the leather? Ronox hide, Scrag brown, and Deathclaw brown. And if you ever wanted a full tutorial on how I paint any of my KD models, I do have a painting tutorial for infantry start to finish from base coat all the way to the basing to get them fully completed. So you can always check that out if you want to know any details about how I paint my models. It's on the models pre 10th edition release or pre 9th edition. It's on the old school models, but it's, I mean, same stuff, same colors. I'm still doing all the same things. Hey, James, good to see you, bud. Good to see you here. James is also in my local gaming club, and he is also awesome sauce. The whole gaming club is really just awesome. Um, James is mostly known as our local Grey Knights player, and he is a very good Grey Knights player. So I really enjoy all my games with him, and all of his opponents enjoy him as well. James even got an award last season in our club because he was the only player to make it to every single event. It was phenomenal. I can't believe he pulled that off. So can't believe anybody pulled that off. We played like 6 or 7 weekends of games, and James never missed one. That's mind blowing to me. Oops, keep my model out of frame again. Sorry, everybody. I gotta realize where my camera view is. So James is also like him and I played a game somewhat recently too, and it was a ton of fun. So we played a kind of a smaller game. It was my guard versus his Grey Knights. And I don't remember who won the game. I really don't. What I do remember is how much fun I had playing the game. That's to me what matters in 40K. It's what matters in gaming in general, which is why I like D&D, right? It's a group game. There's no winners and losers. Unless you get eaten by the dragon, then you lose. That's about it. What is a 2,000 point game? Was it really? And I barely won. But see, in the close games are even the better games too. Which is why at some point when I get time, I'm going to be doing a video on asymmetric gameplay. I really do think that that's an important thing. Okay, so my highlights are really chunky. I got to fix those. Got to get the Abaddon Black out and fix some of those highlights here. The other thing that I want to do is I just finished up my first full set of boarding actions terrain, and I want to get somebody down here to my studio to do some boarding actions. First, just to play a few games to learn the rules, and then to do hopefully some battle reports later. I think that might be a fun way to do it. So I'm guessing with boarding actions, it could be a little quicker to edit to get all that stuff ready. What got me in the guard? Oh man, that is a funny story. Um, so what got me in the guard was actually my friends, and what happened was they were trying to get me into Warhammer, and they tried for months to get me into Warhammer. I mean, months. They were like, "Hey, look at the Space Marines. Hey, look at look at Space Elves. Look at the Drukhari. Look at Chaos. Look at this. Look at that." And they're like, "Isn't it cool? Isn't it so cool? Look at all these super soldiers and demons." And I was a fantasy game player up to that point. Mostly only played D&D, right? So I wasn't into like literally almost anything they were showing me. I'm sure I was just frustrating the absolute hell out of them, because they really wanted me to be part of this kind of garage group we were putting together, the house we lived at the time, and I just refused. And finally, one day, um, this my friend Daniel. He showed me catechins. I was like, those are kind of cool. And then he showed me Cadians, and I was just like, what? There's regular everyday soldiers in Warhammer 40K. And I remember he looked at me, he was like, "You've got to be kidding me." He goes, "There's all these cool things in this setting, and you want to play the regular Joe?" And he was like, "Oh my God." He goes, "Well, okay, here's how you buy and build an army of Astra Militarum." And that's what got me into them. And what really kind of set me off and why I chose them was I do like the setting of 40K, but what I like most is this idea of the regular, normal, everyday human up against these massive horrors of the universe. And that did resonate with me. That and also at the time I was in the army, so I also thought the regular army was pretty cool, which is why I did it. Uh, okay, what do I think of the Cyclops? Ooh. Well, on paper, I think it's pretty underwhelming. So I haven't played with them at all in 10th yet for that reason. I have not. I've not touched them. I don't plan to anytime soon. Just it doesn't look like they would do much of anything, to be honest. Like they would be rather ineffective. And I don't know why. And I actually wrote to GW about this. I'm very disappointed about their kind of heavy-handedness with the Cyclops a little bit. Or at least that's what it comes across to me. I don't know. They weren't broken, in my opinion. So I don't know why they had to be toned down more. I mean, they adjusted their points accordingly, too. So maybe they're worth it for the points value. But I want a bomb vehicle that I drive up, and it's absolutely terrifying. I want it so when I cue for that Cyclops to explode, I want my opponents to be chattering their teeth in fear, right? Mortal wounds washing out. And maybe it is tricky to get it in position to get it to blow up. That was kind of the other thing with ninth edition was its movement and getting it there, and your opponent could just shoot it off the table. The other thing that they changed was what it counts as for models in a transport, and that was a bummer too. So I think it was a little easier to work with back when it only counted as I think 5 models, and now it counts as 6. Why that's important is because now if you have things like Crassus armored transport, Stormlords, mass transport vehicles, it's harder to fit more of them in along with other units. Or maybe putting them in something like a Valkyrie with a character. And you can't do that if there's 6 models. So you put 2 in a Chimera, 2 in a Valkyrie, you're done. You're capped out. Or if you put them in the high number of transports like a Stormlord or Crassus, well, if you put 3 of them in there, say you max it out, you do rule 3, you put 3 in there, that's 18 models out of your 35 in your Crassus, right? It leaves you with 17 more models you could put in there. I mean, yeah, I guess you could do a squad of 10, a Cadian command squad, and a Castellan, right? Or something like that kind of combo. But it really does limit what you can do with them. So I don't know. I haven't tried them out yet, and I really shouldn't knock them till I try them. Have you guys tried out the Cyclops yet? Has anybody played with it yet? I'd be very curious to hear your opinions on it. Um, Let's see. Yeah, what Valhalla was saying was they don't do loads of damage anymore. I think it's only like D3 damage. It's really, really minor. Okay, I think that's it for this model. I think I got all the black highlights. Um, oh, they can do up to 6 mortals? Really? Huh. Um, yeah, actually, if you guys give me a second here, I'll show you. Dave said he didn't know what one was. Do, 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 do. Where are they at? Oh, here they are. I keep all my models right behind me. So this is a Cyclops demolition vehicle. Just a cute little tank based on a German tank they had in World War One that was remote controlled, and they could kind of send it out or World War Two, yeah, and they could send it out and had explosives in it, and then it would explode. And that's what this does. But it, yeah, they really smashed it rules wise. How wide is it? Well, it is nearly 2 inches in length. I'm putting it down here, and it's just barely over an inch wide. So there it is. That's the model. It's kind of cool. I do really like it. Oh, I didn't realize I'd actually put mud effects and stuff on the bottom. Huh. Forgot I'd done that. No, I have a very, very normal size hands. Very average. Oh, that's funny. So, hey, I want to say I'm really excited to actually have this many people watching the stream right now, and I really appreciate it, everybody. Really means a lot. I didn't expect anybody to join in. I thought I'd maybe queue this up for a few minutes and then shut it off. So, but it's really cool to have you all here. So I just finished the Voxcaster. Oh, except wait, forgot one gray highlight on here. Right there. Cool. Now he's done. Although I think I'm starting to realize I think I used the I think I used the wrong gray. Oh no, I did. I was like, why are my highlights so bright? I meant to use Dawnstone and I used Administratum Gray. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Um, do I have some advice for cosplaying as Guard? Yes. So, I'm going to cosplay again real soon at the Grand Narrative. So I'll have my full cosplay on there. Hopefully, you guys will see photos and videos of me doing that. I'm really looking forward to it. But the one thing I learned was my armor is a 3D print. Really, really good 3D print, high quality, but it didn't breathe. It didn't breathe and it also couldn't move. It was inflexible. Um, And so two things happened. One, it was painful because trying to move around on that stiff plastic just hurt. And the second thing was that it didn't breathe and it was really hard for me to stay. I had to hydrate. I had to drink so much water to not become dehydrated during the event. But otherwise, what I would say as actual advice, besides the actual cosplay outfit itself, right? Actual advice is here's what I did: be your character, and I would chant for Cadia. I would chant for the Emperor, and people love that. I think being in character as your cosplay makes a huge difference for folks. And so that's what I would recommend. And that's kind of my best advice is, and also if you're not into cosplaying and you don't think it's something that you want to pick up, because it really is, it's like 3D printing. It's a hobby all in itself. And you got to buy a bunch of supplies. You got to spend a lot of time doing it. It was extremely time consuming for me to put that cosplay together. And so unless you're interested in that, just buy, like, save up the money and buy one that's made by somebody else that has a good reputation that you can trust. So mine came from a great guy up in Pennsylvania, or sorry, not Pennsylvania, New York. And Cody's Universal Crafts was the name of the store. So you can find them on Etsy, you can find them on Instagram, and I knew that I didn't have time or the headspace to learn an entire new hobby. So I paid him to 3D print it, and all I did was sand it down, file it, and put it together. But I wish I had paid him to do all the prep work as well. Instead, I only paid him to print it. And I really do wish I had also paid him to do all the like refinement of the outfit. So several pieces of advice. There you go for cosplaying as Astromoltarum. Oh, and carry your Imperial Infantryman's Handbook, or the commissars will threaten to execute you the way they did me at the Nova Open. There you go. That that's what to watch out for when you're cosplaying as Guard. I'll also try to cosplay at Adepticon. So I probably won't be going to anything else this year, but I will go to Adepticon and I'll try to cosplay at that too. So Adepticon's next March though. I might also be running an event at Adepticon. We will see. We will see. So for any of you US based people, I've submitted to run an event, but we will see if they accept it or not. I submitted. I want to run the Fall of Cadia as a narrative apocalypse event. I've been really disappointed that Beef and Wing hasn't come back to Adepticon. They used to run all the really cool narrative events, all the really cool like apocalypse events, and they just don't do it anymore. So I maybe want to step in and fill that role, but I want to do it with things I'm familiar with. So I want to do the Fall of Cadia. And I even have like a bunch of cool custom terrain I've been working on just for that if they choose to accept my offer. I have not heard back from them. I should probably check my junk folder. Oh, God. That'd be the way to miss out on some cool stuff. But we'll see. Do, 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 do. Okay, now that I've fixed the highlights with the correct color of Dawnstone rather than Administratum Gray, there we go. He's looking pretty good. Yep. That one's all done. Sweet. Although the highlights still kind of look weird. Oh, I may need to completely redo it, and I really don't want to. Anyhow. So that's it. I'm just hanging out, just painting, just chatting for those kind of joining right now. So ask any questions, anything you want. I'm happy to talk about it. Let's see. It does not sound like a good idea to play airsoft in the guard gear from what you said about the probability. Yeah, unless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn how to make cosplay out of foam. And once I do that, I'm going to rebuild my guard outfit out of foam. And that should fix the mobility issues. So, and also the breathing issues. Like, because that did not exhaust anything. How long does it normally take me to paint an entire squad? Oof. I'm a very slow painter. And I also get distracted easily. So, if I really focus, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. And that's only painting like a little bit, a few hours in a week. It's not like talking about sitting down for an entire day. I want on like a Saturday, say if I got a whole Saturday free, it doesn't count that. It's like a few hours every day, and so it takes me about a month to get a whole squad done. Not the fastest painter in the world, but then like what happens is I get bored halfway through doing it. That's why I've also been doing a lot of those hobby motivation videos. So I'm sure you all feel the same way. And then I have to do other stuff to keep my hobby motivation up. So, and I've been sharing those tips with you. Actually, I had another one I wanted to shoot today, but I just didn't feel motivated to make a video. Speaking of motivation. So I didn't do it. I'll do it later. I'll do my next hobby tip later. Just missed the message. What was said? Last time I played 40K was Assault on Black Reach. Oh my God. So seeing the parking lot deployments now makes me now take me out of the game. Do you see them going away with a rule change in the future? I'm surprised people are doing parking lots at all. The reason being is movement is such an absolutely critical part in the game. It has been since ninth edition. Eighth, it wasn't so bad, but ninth, they've really kind of hammered it in there that you got to move, you got to get on objectives, you got to do things to win. So I'm surprised that people are doing parking lots again. I do not see it personally. Oopsies. Oh, we'll have to fix that up with a bad and black. So I don't see it a lot myself. When people do try to do parking lots, I usually have a good chuckle, and what I'll do is I'll just run out and take objectives and hide my models. I really will. So I don't know if we'll see any rules changes other than mission rules to kind of counter that, unless they also change the points for certain models, maybe. But we'll see. You know, things like artillery, like they already nerfed artillery, and so that's supposed to help with that. But maybe so. I I personally don't recommend parking lot as a play style because I think you'll lose. And you can talk to a couple of my people at the local game club working on the stream, and they'll tell you like I get out there, I move my models. So, oh, all right. So it's been fun. I think I'm going to actually hop off stream because my wife and kids are home. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to hop off the stream and I will talk to you all later. But it was good doing this test run. Thanks, everybody. I'm downstairs. Sorry.